Magandang hapon sa lahat. I'm sorry to cut your lunch para makabuo tayo ng points. Kailangan mag-umpisa na tayo. Okay? So we'll have a working lunch. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chairman of the Professional Regulatory Board, Electronics Engineering, ang gwapo, simpatiko, Professor, Dr. Engineer Alnar Detalya. Ba't ka naman yan? Woohoo!
Good afternoon. Okay ba? Makakain pa ba kayo? Ha? Anyway, so, sabi mo nito. Wala. So the topic is capability roadmap of the electronics engineering profession. Capability roadmap. Ha? So before I proceed, let us define first what is capability roadmap. Okay, capability roadmap is an action plan to acquire or develop the key technologies or capability. So this is an action plan to develop capabilities. Therefore, in this particular talk, I'm going to discuss our action plan for the purpose of enhancing our capabilities as professional. Okay? So our action plan, our strategy in order for the electronics professionals to enhance their capability. Of course, to be used in the practice of our respective profession. Okay? So, I hope that the definition is clear. Okay. So, before I proceed further, let us consider first this legal mandates. Article 3, Section 12 of RA 10912. Ano tong Republic Act 10912? This is the CPD law. CPD law. So what does it says? Section 12. Career progression and specialization. That's the title. So according to this section, the PRC and the professional regulatory boards, in consultation with the APO, the Civil Service Commission, other government agencies, shall, okay, saan yung pointer dito? Ito ba? The Professional Regulatory Board shall formulate and implement a career progression and specialization program for every profession. So we are mandated, the board, to formulate and implement a career progression and specialization program for every profession. So meaning to say, it is our mandate as Board of Electronics Engineering to formulate and implement a career progression and specialization for the electronics engineering profession. The career progression and specialization shall form part of the CPD. So that's our mandate. So there are two keywords here. Number one is career progression and specialization. Now, as far as specialization program is concerned, I guess it was clearly specified in RA 9292. It was clearly specified in RA 9292. Na? That is in Section 5 of RA 9292. So So the specialization includes the following: telecommunication, ICT, computers, broadcast, industrial electronics, and so on. That means a specialization was clearly specified in our law. Now, to have an overview of this, for electronics engineering profession, the specialization was clearly defined. Again, going back to our mandate, we shall formulate career specialization and progression. As what I've said, specialization was clearly defined. The challenge is career progression. I should define career progression in this manner. As a professional, you need to progress in your chosen field of specialization. So your career progression, vertical yun. Again, as a professional, you need to progress in your chosen field of specialization. Now, if you go horizontal, we shall call that one as career expansion. Career expansion. You expand your specialization from one to another. That's expansion. However, our mandate is to formulate specialization and career progression. So we'll try to focus on career progression. We try to devise strategies an action plan in such a way that a professional will enhance his capability in his chosen field of specialization. So what's our action plan? And as far as career progression is concerned, of course, we have this CPD. Yun yung gagamitin natin. But how? I'm going to discuss that later. But before that, let me give the overview of this continuing professional development. Of course, it's already mandated by law, Republic Act 10912. Now, continuing professional development. It seems that this is very generic, that it applies to all profession. Continuing professional development. It can be applied to physics professional. However, let's try to look at this in the context of Republic Act 10912. What is CPD in as far as Republic Act 10912 is concerned? Kasi without this law, when we say continuing professional development, applicable to sa lahat. So let's try to look at CPD in the context of RA 10912. What does it say? Section 1, Article 1, Section 3F of RA 10912. Continuing professional development, this refers to the inculcation of advanced knowledge in post-licensure specialization. So in post-licensure specialization for assimilation into professional practice. So this refers to advanced knowledge. Advanced, meaning to say, without the post-licensure examination, halimbawa, after graduating ECE, for example, you did not take the exam. So the knowledge that you acquire after you graduate the ECE, yun yung advanced knowledge. However, we cannot refer that as CPD in as far as this law is concerned. Because mayroon pang isang factor. What's that? In post-licensure exam. So meaning to say, after you got license. So those advanced knowledge acquired after you graduate, but before you took the exam or before you passed the exam, we cannot consider that as CPD. Why? Because one factor is missing. Okay? You got my point? After you graduate ECE, whatever advanced knowledge undertaking that you got during that period, we cannot consider that as CPD. What can be considered as CPD? Those advanced undertakings in post-licensure. Okay? So meaning, after you pass the exam, kung lisensyado ka na, the advanced knowledge that you earn after you pass the exam, yun yung may CPD in as far as this law is concerned. Okay? Is very clear na? Now, aside from that, anong purpose ng CPD? For assimilation into professional practice. Meaning, the CPD is you need to use the CPD in the practice of the profession. Okay? So, CPD, advanced knowledge after you get your license. Advanced knowledge acquired before you pass the exam cannot be considered as CPD. And what's the purpose? Gagamitin mo yon in the practice of the profession. So that's how Republic Act 10912 defines CPD. Okay. So meaning to say, CPD is updated knowledge. Now, CPD is a requirement for the renewal of license, implies updated knowledge is a requirement for the renewal of license. Don't take it as points yung ni-require sa renewal of your license. So you need to think that the requirement for the renewal of license is your updated knowledge. Okay. Nature of CPD programs. So, what are the activities that can be considered as CPD-able? Okay. As far as 10912 is concerned, these are the nature of CPD programs. There are 6: formal learning, non-formal learning, informal learning, self-directed learning, online learning activities, professional work experience. Okay, so let's define this one. Number 1, formal learning. This refers to educational arrangements such as curricular qualifications and teaching learning requirements that take place in education and training institutions, recognized by relevant national authorities, which lead to diploma and qualification. So these are advanced knowledge acquired after you pass the examination in what? Higher education institution. Okay? Higher education institution. That means, if we also compare the definition of CPD in the previous slides, the only advanced undertakings that will be referred here would be what? Masters and PhD. Okay? So ito yung formal learning, masters and PhD. Yun yung advanced learning na nakuha mo in educational institutions. Now, number 2, non-formal learning. This refers to learning that has been acquired in addition or alternatively to formal learning, which may be structured and made more flexible in educational and training arrangement. In other words, advanced knowledge acquired from accredited CPD providers. Meaning to say, this activity, the learning that you got from this activity is referred to as non-formal learning. Okay? The learning that you got, advanced knowledge that you got from this activity, we shall call that as non-formal learning. Okay. Next, informal learning. Informal. Kanina, non-formal. Ito yun. What about informal? This refers to learning that occurs in daily life assessed through the recognition and validation and accreditation process. So, ibig sabihin, whatever you learn in your daily activities can also be considered as CPD, provided that it is advanced enough comparable to undergraduate. So whatever you learn, whatever knowledge that you got from your daily activities, we can consider that as CPD or can be convertible to CPD units. However, medyo tricky lang to because you need to undergo validation on this. Iba-validate natin to. So for example, in your daily activities, you were able to learn this process. Okay? So you can document the process, submit that to PRC, CPD Council for Electronics Engineering, and have the council evaluate that. And possible, mayroong points yan. We call that informal. Okay? So you see, aside from this seminar, there are still other avenues for you to earn CPD. One of that is this one, informal. What else? Self-directed. This refers to learning activities such as online training and so on, which did not undergo CPD accreditation. So what are these? Those seminars that you attended sponsored by your companies. Those are referred to as self-directed. Self-directed yun. So meaning, just bring the certificate, submit that to PRC, and have it credited as CPD. So that's another source of CPD aside from this. So why worry? It seems that this is the only source of CPD. Mali. We should correct that notion. There are many sources of CPD. Now what else? Online learning activities. Okay? It's self-explanatory. Then professional work experience. So itong online learning activities, this has similarity to the previous. May similarity to sa self-directed. And then yung professional work experience, may similarity sa informal learning. But this professional work experience, this is related to the practice of the profession. What do you mean by that? For example, you practice a profession, and on the process, you learn something new from it. Pwede yang may CPD. Yung kanina, yung informal, daily activities. It may not be related to the practice of the profession as long as may learn ka na new process. Okay. So those are nature of CPD undertakings or sources of CPD. Okay? So, yun. So, again, this is not the only source of CPD. So, balik tayo sa main point. Di ba? We need to have an action plan in order for the professionals to what? We have the action plan in order professionals to become, in order for them to develop their careers in their chosen field of specialization, di ba? Yun yung previous notion earlier. No? And the action plan is tailored to CPD. Okay. Classification of CPD. Okay. So, the question here is how? We already know what is CPD. We already know the sources of CPD. And the next question is how CPD can enhance the capability of the professionals in their chosen field of specialization. That's the next question. Paano itong CPD makatulong sa mga professionals to enhance their capability in their chosen field of specialization? Paano? Okay. So, this will, the next slides will answer that particular question. Okay? So, in the new CPD operational guideline, we define the field of specialization. Okay? There are 8. So, okay. So, paano makatulong? How will CPD help the professionals to enhance their capability in their chosen field of specialization? That's the question. Okay. So, the new operational guidelines, there are 4 major areas. Okay? The area 1, this refers to field of specialization. Area 2 refers to standards of professional practice. The coverage would be that. Building code, electronics code, commercial industries, and so on. Then area 3, laws, ethics, and management. Those are the coverage area. And area 4, environment, sustainability, and social responsibility. Okay? So CPD is categorized into 4 different areas. Remember the question, how will the CPD help the professional enhance their capability in their chosen field of specialization? That's the question. How will the CPD help the professional enhance their capability in their chosen field of specialization? Okay. So again, there are 4 areas of CPD activities. Area 1, Area 2, Area 3, and Area 4. Now, to answer that question, ito na yon. Paano? Okay. First, doon tayo sa mga PECE. Okay? For PECE, ang credit unit that he needs to earn in one cycle should be 60. And 60 points will be divided into the 4 different areas. Okay? So 30 of the 60 should come from your chosen field of specialization. Remember, there are 8 specializations specified in the previous slide. 30 points of that should come from that chosen field of specialization. Okay? And then 25 credit unit should come from, okay, Area 1, may coverage yun, or Area 2, or a combination of Area 1 and Area 2. Okay? Now, for example, si PECE, yung field of specialization niya is telecoms. That means the professional should earn 30 credit unit from telecoms. Okay? And the 25 credit unit of that, may option siya. It's either kunin niya sa Area 1, but bawal na si telecoms. So it could be the 25 points should come from microelectronics or broadcast, and so on. Assuming at telecoms yung specialization niya. Or, the 25 points should come from Area 2. May coverage tayong binigay earlier. Or, a combination of Area 1 and Area 2. But take note, Area 1, excluded na ngayon si telecoms because it is assumed na telecoms yung major niya. Okay? So yun yung setup. Then the remaining 5 should come from Area 3 and Area 4. Clear? Okay, for ECE, the 40 points should come from Area 1 or Area 2 or a combination. So meaning to say, wala pang specialization na specify for ECE. Mamili lang siya. But it is recommended that at this stage, mag-specify ka na ng specialization mo so that when you become professional electronics engineer, at least mayroon ka ng direction. The remaining 5, comes from Area 3 and Area 4. For ECT, same thing, but then 25 credit unit lang. So, did it answer our question? How will this CPD help enhance our professionals in their chosen field of specialization? So may focus na ngayon. We design CPD in such a way that the professionals has their own fields of specialization. So that's how we address the problem. Okay. By the way, let me also emphasize this one. This is Section 10 of our operational guideline. That's going to be published sooner. Kunti na lang yung hintayin natin. Section 10, that's a section in operational guideline. Maximum creditable units for self-directed and lifelong learning. Ito yung mga CPD undertakings coming from non-accredited providers. May capping tayo dyan. So the maximum is 60% of the required CPD credit in one compliance period. So for example, kung PECE ka, so 60% of 60, yun yung maximum creditable units for self-directed and lifelong learning. Hindi po pwede lahat na 60 points comes from self-directed and lifelong learning. Meaning, you need to participate or you need to get points from accredited providers. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. So you are required to get CPD units from accredited providers. Now, if all of your points comes from accredited CPD providers, walang problema yun. Kasi may notion na hindi na ako mag-attend sa IECEP na activities. Dito na lang sa mga seminars ko. Sobra-sobra na to. Yun yung iniiwasan natin. Na? Kaya may capping tayo for self-directed and lifelong learning. Na? So, maximum of 60% of the required CPD credit in one cycle. So this is applicable, by the way, except those listed under items that one, in section 7 of operational guideline. What are these listed in this item? So for example, in the compliance period, naging ASEAN Chartered Professional Engineer ka. So those advanced knowledge, we can refer that as self-directed or lifelong learning. Yeah? But then, as far as our operational guideline is concerned, ang credit noon, one full cycle. So hindi na applicable tong 60%. So yun yung mga exception dyan. For example, international awardee ka. So may credit yan as full cycle credit. So you don't need to comply the 60%, 40%. Although it is self-directed, but it is exceptional in as far as this law is concerned. Okay? So again, this is effective starting January 1, 2019 onwards. January 1, 2019 onwards. Meaning to say, if you want to renew your license on February 2019, dapat ang compliance period mo, patras mo ng 3 years. 18, 17, 16. Dapat at this time, may specialization ka nang ma-identify. So I would encourage IECEP to form the specialized group to take care of this specialized topic. Why? Because the effectivity of this would be 2019. And the cycle period covered by this would start from 2016, 17, 18, and 16, 17, 18. So at this time pa lang, dapat may specialization na tayo. Okay. Mayroon din tayong tinatawag na transitory period. So those professionals who want to renew their license on or before January 1, 2018. Okay. That's 2019, before 2019. So ito yun. So, itong 2017, I guess, hindi na yan siya applicable. Assuming that our operational guideline will be out officially this December, so we cannot consider na this year 2017. Dito na tayo sa 2018. For PECE, 40%, 40 credit unit, ECE 30, and then 20. That is for those who wants to renew before January 1, 2019. Okay. So, ito yun. So, ayun. So, with this scheme, we are assured that CPD can help a professional enhance their capability in their chosen field of specialization. Okay. How? Paano natin i-implement to? We know that it can help, but the thing is, how are we going to implement? So paano natin i-implement? Ito yun. We have IECEP, and we encourage IECEP to form specialized group. Okay? So we need to have these groups, specialized in telecoms, electronics, broadcast, and so on. We try to pattern the medical profession. Meron sa Philippine Medical Society, and then meron silang different subgroups. No? So what are the functions of this? So one of the functions is develop and implement specialized CPD programs. Okay? So sila yung, ano to? 3 minutes na lang? Okay. So one of their functions is to develop and implement specialized CPD program. Number 2, this group becomes a certification body or board. Now, we all know that at this time, wala pa tayong specialization. Na? So, if you want to specialize in telecoms, pupunta ka ngayon sa grupo ng telecoms, na? Si telecom group would specify ano yung kailangan ni professional para maging specialized in telecom. Probably, the group will require modules to take in order for professionals to be certified as specialized in telecom. Depende yan sa grupo. Na? Depende yan sa grupo. So, okay. Matrix activities. There are 4 CPD activities. We have professional track, academic track, self-directed track, and other activities. Let's focus lang on the 3. Professional track, and then we can consider professional and self-directed as one group in the academic track. Now, if we try to compare this to Philippine Qualification Framework, saang level tayo? Level 6, baccalaureate. Okay? For you to increase to level 7, the option would be, paano? You should, the option, for you to be up at level 7, you need to enroll in academic institution, get your master's, and get your PhDs, so that your level would increase. Okay? We envision in the future, can I have 5 minutes more? We envision in the future that using this CPD specialized framework, it can help the professionals increase or level up their standard through CPD. Yun yung in-envision natin. As long as the group is active enough to offer programs comparable to the programs offered by the higher education institution, hindi man it would be possible. So we encourage to organize a specialized group and offer quality programs so that it can help the professionals increase their levels. Okay. I guess I need to skip this one. Wala daw time. So, ito, we have our IECEP structure, specialized form, So this is for electronics professionals. And then, how are we going to implement this one? With the help of IECEP, organized specialized group. Now, what about the lower bracket of our profession? That is the incoming professionals. So we need to align also the curriculum with the specialized structure of CPD. And just to give a brief overview of the proposed curriculum aligned to this structure. So, ito yun. And take note on the 4th year, mayroon na tayong dalawang electives dyan, elective 1 and elective 2. So, these electives is related to the specializations. So, what are the specializations? Ito yun. Telecoms, microelectronics, power electronics, and so on. So, how are we going to implement also this one? na, the students would choose their specialization. Mandatory. So, bawal kukuha ng elective 1 from telecoms and elective 2 from microelectronics. Bawal yun. Ha? So, meaning to say, if you choose telecoms if the student chose telecoms as his specialization, these are the minimum number of units that he needs to comply na, as a requirement for his graduation. Of course, higher education institution has the option to increase this one. But this is only the minimum. Na? Okay? So, at the end of the program, we expect that the student is already ready for a specialization framework of CPD. So, okay? So another thing, the third function of the specialized group, develop and recommend to CHED, technical panel for ECE, the new curricular programs and updates related to specialization. So, there. And I guess, on time ako. Thank you.
Sure. Welcome na po sa ating PRC hour. And here's our moderator, the ECE Department Vice Chair of De La Salle University, guwapong-guwapo, batang-bata, Engineer Gerald Arada.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. This time we will have we call it PRC hour, so we could directly ask questions to the board of the chair and the member of the board of electronics of PRC, so we can personally ask them our questions and to shed some light on some obscure parang topics on the practice of our profession. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call on again the chair of the Board of Electronics Engineering. Let us all welcome Dr. Alnar Detalia. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we also have the member of the Board of Electronics Engineering. Let us give him a warm round of applause, Engineer Enrico Claro R. Del Moro. It's like a talk show here, so I'm going to be your talk show host this afternoon.
Hello.
Sir, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. Of course, as an ECE, electronics engineer, we would like trying to understand how you go with your activity day by day. So it's not very easy. That's why I would like to personally, on behalf of our electronics engineers here, I would like to publicly thank you for always looking after the welfare of the profession, electronics engineer, and for always taking care of us for practicing our profession. We have prepared some questions for you, and maybe any one of you can answer the question. Uh, you have already enumerated the programs in your presentation, but I just would like to reiterate, what are the BECE programs for this year and onwards?
Okay, so our main priority for next year is the full, not to say the full implementation of our operational guidelines of CPD, because it's going to be implemented in 2019, but preparation in the implementation of that operational guideline of CPD. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, as what I mentioned earlier, how are we going to implement that system? So we need a specialized group to really offer a specialized topic for specialized field. So I would encourage IECEP to organize now this specialized group. And for those group, like I would like to mention, I guess telecoms and broadcasts, I guess they are in a position to really start the ball rolling. I would like them, I encourage them to start offering programs now in their areas. After all, kung sino yung mauna, sila yung makakuha ng maraming member in their group. But then, I would also like to encourage other specialized group to also organize, because eventually members will be looking at you, especially when we implement now this particular CPD.
Sir, siyempre yung may bagong curriculum, sir, di ba? Yung mga medyo maraming matatanda na rito, yung mga anak natin, sir, ilang taon ba ngayon ang PECE?
Okay. I should say, unfortunately, naging 4 years na lang.
Palakpakan nyo naman yan, no? 4 years na lang. 5 taon tayo, ha? Yung iba, 7, di ba? Yung iba, 8.
Pinalakpakan yung unfortunate.
4 years.
Well, ganito, sinabi ko unfortunate because binawasan ng 1 taon. However, yung content, halos ganun pa rin. So, sana kung binawas yung 1 taon, the content of 1 year na binawas, dapat wala sana yun. Kaso, I guess 75 or 50% of the content of that year na nabawas, nandoon pa rin. So mahirapan tayong i-formulate yung curriculum natin. With Doc May here as the chairman of the technical panel. So yun yung naging unfortunate doon. But again, the good thing is that naging 4 years na lang. Bawas gastos.
Thank you, sir.
Pero to clarify that, magiging 4 years siya starting next school year. So yung mga naka-enroll ngayon, 5 years pa rin yung kurso nila. Yung mag-i-start next year, kasi ang assumption doon, tinapos nila yung K-12.
Yung K-12.
So meron silang 12 years na education doon plus 4 years. Supposed to be ito yung solution para maging kapareho tayo or at par tayo dun sa educational system sa other countries.
Thank you very much for that answers. Engineer Del Moro, can you give us, like for PECE, we're just very curious, how much is the minimum professional services fee for PECE?
Dun sa fees ng professional ECEs, I think it's not right that the Board of ECE will mandate a fee or a minimum fee, a maximum fee, or whatever. So this is a free country, and plying your trade is a profession.
Okay.
So it will be up to each of the professionals to price their own. Obviously, you would not price yourself out of range. Otherwise, you will not get any clients. it's also not right to price yourself very low because your clients might think you do not know anything. So it will be up to you. But of course, it is better for the professionals themselves and through IECEP to agree on a minimum fee. Para wala yung, ano masabi na doon? Nagda-dive ng presyo. Para walang diver, no? Hindi tayo diver. So dapat meron tayong regulated, hindi naman regulated, no? It's an encouraged minimum fee.
Yeah, for the PECE, how about like for the newly grads? So can they like ask for, like if they are going to apply, do they have some asking price from the company? What's the minimum salary maybe they could expect?
A long time ago, I think, if you read up the code of practice, the old code of practice for ECEs, there was this computation on how they will price themselves. But nowadays, it is not appropriate that we do the same. Everything that we do now is industry-driven. Everything is client-based. So, if we demand a salary, dapat merong backup. May reason kung bakit tayo nagdi-demand nun. We do not demand without any reason. So, kung ano yung dinictate ng industry, kung ano yung binibigay ng industry, yun yung kukunin natin. So, if you're not satisfied with that, ang sasabihin naman ng industry, this is an open country, you are free to go and find another job.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll have this question to Dr. Detalia. So, how do we like foresee the practice of ECE in line with the project or in line with the President Duterte's administration? Okay. So, do we have some programs gearing or linking or supporting the programs of President Duterte?
Yeah, I guess with this new CPD guideline highlighting the specialization, whatever programs that is being implemented, it is easier to, tap sino yung specialized dito, because in place na yung specialization natin. Yeah. So especially the program of the government now is build, no? So it involves a lot of specialization as far as the practice of electronics engineering profession is concerned. So hindi na tayo mahirapan. No? Kumbaga, we can come up with a pool of experts on this field, on this field, on this field.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll have another question to Engineer Almoro. Would you release general guidelines and standards in the design and implementations of smart city in the near future?
I think the owner of the smart city is the Department of Information and Communications Technology. So we will just participate in the discussions of those standards and to get things moving, the current OIC of the ICT, General Rio, invited us to be at the ICT come December 6, I think. There will be a professional forum at the ICT on December 6, and probably before or after that, we will be having a meeting with the OIC of the ICT.
Thank you, sir. Baka may question kayo sa ating board ng ECE. Meron. Ayun, meron. Dito na? Padala. Ha? High-tech. Pare.
Okay, so this is coming from a PECE, right? So from Engineer Williardo C. Mesa. The question is, paano po kaya may implement in full ang Section 13 ng CPD law kung saan dapat ay suportado ng employers, including the government, ang CPD ng kanilang employees?
Can you read again the question? Paano?
Paano po kaya may pa-implement in full ang Section 13 ng CPD law kung saan dapat ay suportado ng employers, including the government, ang CPD ng kanilang employees? I think, Mr. Mesa, can you please stand?
Can you please elaborate your question?
Yeah, please, can you please go to the microphone? Williardong Mesa. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Williardo Mesa po mula sa Rizal Provincial Government. Tinanong ko lang po yan, sir, kasi yung Section 13, dapat kasama sa Human Resource Program ng mga employers, mapag-gobyerno man o pribado, ang CPD ng kanilang mga empleyado. Yun po ay shall, ang ibig sabihin mandatory din. Paano po kaya natin unti-unti may papatupad yan para siguro masimulan na subsidize lang muna and then later mandatory na?
Meron ba tayong monitor dito, isang speaker? It seems that the audio is not clear here. The audio is not quite clear here. No? Siguro doon sa side nyo, medyo clear yung ano. Come again, can you state your question?
Inuulit ko po, sir, yung Section 13 po ay tungkol sa pagsuporta ng mga employers
Yeah.
doon sa CPD program ng kanilang mga empleyado.
Ah.
Ngayon po, masasabi natin merong partially subsidized, meron namang uma-absent. Kita-kita naman po natin sa mga vlogs yan. Paano po kaya later lang, kahit hindi po madali yan? Kasi baka naman po, hindi naman natin pwedeng banggain ng industriya. So, paano po kaya natin maunti-unti yan?
Okay, ganito. It is assumed that the undertakings of the professional in the company is related to the practice of profession. Now, in that case, since ginamit mo yung profession mo in that company, ideally, obligado si company to support you in the updating of your knowledge. However, there are instances that a certain professional working in the company, mayroon din siyang sideline outside sa company. So, hindi naman din dapat na yung CPD undertakings niya, i-demand niya lahat 100% doon sa company kasi ginagamit din niya outside his official function. So, balance na lang yun. It's up to you. If you think that you are using your license outside your function in the company, I guess huwag kang mag-demand ng 100% support sa company mo. However, if you think that wala kang sideline, doon lang talaga sa company mo in-apply yung yung knowledge mo as ECE, may karapatan kang mag-demand ng full support from your company. And as what I have said in my previous talk, this is not the only source of CPD. Now, karamihan, companies are conducting trainings to update the knowledge of their employees. Diba? So, yung trainings na yun, may CPD na yun. So, kaya siguro si company, they will not bother to send you to attend the conference kasi mayroon din sila initiative to update your knowledge. No? So, your responsibility is get a certificate of that training, your trainings acquired from your company, have it credited in PRC para may CPD ka. No? So, yun yung posibleng senaryo.
Salamat po, sir. Kasi kaya lang ko po naitanong yan, meron naman po talaga mga kumpanya na halimbawa, isa lang kami o dalawa lang road. talagang walang programa para sa amin. Talagang dito lang o kaya doon sa special training na medyo magastos rin po. So, kaya ko lang po tinanong. Kasi ang nakalagay doon ay shall support.
Yun nga, we take into account that probably the professional, posibleng mayroon din siyang function outside sa function niya in the company. Kaya siguro yun yung naging wordings ng provision.
Salamat po mga sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if you have some more questions, you approach the microphone, state your name and your company and your questions. Okay, so we're still going to have three more questions.
Yeah, before you ask your question, just additional points lang, no? Sad to say that mayroon ding mga companies na yung valid license ng professional, they only require that upon acceptance of the professional. Kung nasa loob na, they don't care kung valid pa ba yun or hindi. Mayroon mga companies na ganun. Na? During the time na nag-apply pa yung aplikante, okay, they require a valid license. However, kung nandoon na, they don't care kung nag-expire ba or hindi. Na? So dapat din makorek yun sa mga companies.
Good afternoon, sir. Engineer Bargamento from IECEP Eastern Visayas chapter. There are so many engineers who are asking or trying to submit their certificates for accreditation for CPD. Is it possible for them to submit it to the regional offices, because it's I think disadvantageous for us in the provinces if we have to submit it to Manila National Office?
Yeah, I think yun yung process. Na? Doon mo isubmit sa regional office, then sa regional office, sa yung magdala sa national office to the yung concerned board of concerned profession, then have it evaluated. Unfortunately, yung schedule ng evaluation of the CPD Council for your application, yung schedule once a month lang. And that includes evaluating those who applied for accredited provider, accredited program, and the bulk is applying for self-accreditation. So you can imagine paano lang tatapusin yun in one day. So kaya mayroon silang siniset na at least 60 days for self-accreditation, for program and accreditation, accredited provider application, 30 days. Hindi ako nagkakamali, no? So yun. However, at least yun, posible pang matagalan, no? So depende sa dami ng mga applicants. So meaning to say, kung mag-renew ka using those knowledge acquired under self-accreditation, dapat i-apply mo na ahead of time.
Add-on question lang, sir. Because if are they going to submit the original certificates, or they submit a photocopy, and who will certify that the photocopy is from the original?
The currently existing procedure now is that you have to bring the original and a photocopy. So the PRC will check those documents, and if verified, they will give back to you the original. Kukunin lang nila yung photocopy. Just for verification.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your question. Another question, please.
Silverio Boy Cabadona po from Iligan City, the city beside Marawi City. I'm from National Grid Corporation. Sir, may I ask kung with regards to acceptable CPDs, ano yung mga topic na acceptable na pwedeng ma-credit for CPDs? Then, could management of maintenance in a corporation acceptable ba rin ba na experience or professional practice ng ECE? Then, the practice of ECE or CPD, acceptable pa ba yung mga ginagawa ng ECE when it comes to the security, like surveillance in the company, maintenance of equipment na not necessarily electronics in nature. Then, pang-apat is yung cross-discipline. Problem ng electrical, si ECE, yung gumagawa ng solution. Example, yung detection ni electrical ng impending o incipient defects of power equipment. Si ECE, yung gumagamit ng thermal scanner, ultraviolet detection, and ultrasonic acoustics para ma-detect itong mga problem na to. Are all of them acceptable ba na experience or professional practice ng ECE in an electrical company?
Okay. Experience itself would not merit a CPD credit unit. I need to emphasize that your learning out of that experience, yun yung may credit. Learning that could be used in the practice of the profession. So kung basic experience lang siya na common, wala kang new learning na na-earn out of that experience, walang CPD yun. So meaning to say, if you submit a documented write-up regarding that particular experience, you need to highlight your new knowledge earned out of that experience. And then, you need to highlight also na this new knowledge that I learned from that experience, ginagamit ko to pag-practice ng profession. So, with those experiences that you mentioned, I cannot say yes, I cannot say no. It's up to you to assess whether mayroon ba tayong na-gain na bagong knowledge from that experience and nagamit ko ba to in the practice of my profession.
One last question for my part, sir. Yung mga technical seminar or lectures na binibigay ng mga suppliers, kasama doon sa product na sinusupply nila sa company. Like thermal scanner, may ranking po yan, at saka yung acoustics detection, may seminar at nagbibigay sila ng certificate. Are all of this acceptable for CPDs?
Yeah, document lang. Tapos i-highlight talaga yung new knowledge na na-earn out of that experience.
Okay, so
Properly document, and you need to convince the CPD council who will evaluate that document.
thank you very much for being generous in answering the questions. I'm sorry, but we just have one question.
Diretso na.
It's okay. Okay daw.
Huh?
Okay daw.
Okay.
So,
Good afternoon.
it's okay. Last ka na daw. Okay.
I'm Robert Culina from De La Salipa, IECEP Batangas chapter. Knowing that the implementation of this new CPD scheme will be on January of 2019, so that means we only be having approximately 1 year left to organize or to create a specialized group. So there's really an urgent need to formulate that, meaning there will be a dialogue already between the PRB of ECE and the IECEP. So what what are the initiated activities pertaining to the formulation of that specialized groups, and what will we expect in the near future? Is the academic people involved in the creation of that formalized, specialized group?
Okay, let me clear this issue, no? Regardless kung may ma-form na specialized group or wala, we are going to implement this. So meaning, kayo yung maghabol sa IECEP, bakit hindi sila nag-initiate? So ang burden ibigay namin sa professional organization. And kayo yung pupukpuk sa kanila. Because definitely, for us as implementer of the law, we are going to implement this one come January 1, 2019.
Thank you, sir. Follow-up question. Will there be also a categorization or classification also of different CPD providers as per specialized groupings? And how the CPD Council assure that the trainings applied by those CPD providers are substantial or sufficient enough to cater all specialized groups?
Okay, ganito. It was included in our operational guideline that whenever a provider submits a program, dapat naka-indicate doon anong specialization ang what specialized field ang yung topic na yon. So it should be indicated in the submission anong field to. So it was clearly specified in our operational guideline. Now for your next question, I wasn't able to get it.
How will the CPD Council assure that the applied trainings to be provided by the CPD providers are really enough to cater all the requirements needed by those specialized groups? My worry is that baka po kasi yung mga i-apply nilang mga trainings are only biased dito lang sa mga specific specialized groups.
Kaya nga, we are encouraging every group to be active. Otherwise, kung isang grupo lang yung active, wala. Maging isang specialization lang yung mangyari.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So our last question.
Good afternoon po. My name is Engineer Endeno. I'm from IECEP Singapore Chapter. We just want
Na-recognize ba yung Singapore kanina? Na-recognize ba yung IECEP Singapore kanina?
Opo.
Okay, sige, go ahead.
Sir, regarding po doon sa talk nyo kanina, medyo ina-anticipate na po namin yung mga members po doon sa Singapore. Kasi mostly po yung mga OFW. Magkakaroon pa rin po ba ng exemption regarding dun sa pag-i-implement coming January 19 to 2019?
Wala. Marami kasi tayong option how to get CPD. Pwedeng online, self-directed, and so on.
Okay, next question po. Majority po ng members ng nasa Singapore is mga project managers. So in which category will they fall based po doon sa specialization?
It's up to them to decide. Sila yung nakakaalam sa kung anong nature of undertakings they are in. Anong project yun. Kung it's related to telecoms, then
So we can categorize based on what their current job is.
Yeah, but you need to convince the group. Kasi every group should have its own assessment tool.
Okay.
So you need to, have the specialized group approve that particular undertakings.
Okay. Thank you po.
Okay, so I think I can ask na lang.
Aside from you, mayroon pa ng isa.
Meron pa ba?
Last
Last
one.
one.
Pahabol ako dun sa master project manager, medyo may problema tayo sa mga project managers. Kasi, first of all, yung project manager can be anywhere. Pwede kang project manager sa construction. Pwede kang project manager sa software. Pwede kang project manager ng implementation lang. So, pag sinabi mo, magyayabang ka, project manager ako, ano yung depth ng pagiging project manager? No? So, it's not it's not automatic, no? Na pag project manager ka, malaki kagad yung tingin. No? Kasi anybody can be a project manager. Maski hindi engineer. Maski hindi engineer. Even sa construction. May mga project managers sa construction na hindi engineers. They rose from the ranks, nag-qualify sila nung may nagko-qualify na project manager, pumasa sila, and they become project managers. Pero hindi sila engineers. No? Advantage yun sa atin kung maging project manager tayo. But being a project manager itself, hindi siya guarantee na nandun ka na sa taas.
Last question po sa akin, Engineer Del Moro. Kasi from the academe, so meron kasing masters, meron PhD. So ilang points yon, and then within may ano ba, duration bago siya ma-credit?
Okay. Yung postgraduate, sabihin after BS, yung MS and the PhD, one time mo lang pwedeng gamitin. And it is up to you when you will use it. Halimbawa, kung gusto mo, gamitin ko na itong next 3-year cycle ko, hindi muna ako mag-a-attend ng mga seminars. And I will use my MS or PhD. Tapos, mako-cover na niya yung requirements for the entire period, 3-year period. One time lang. Maski na natapos mo yan nung, say, 5 or 10 years ago, pero hindi mo pa nagamit. Pwedeng gamitin.
Okay.
I guess meron pang isa nakita akong ano.
Sige, last na.
Good afternoon po. Engineer Dante Di Castro po sa Northern Luzon. Sir, bali, with due respect lang po, saan po napupunta yung mga binabayad namin as members? May mga programs po ba na nakakatulong para ma-enhance yung ano?
Saan kayo nagbayad? Sa PRC or sa IECEP?
Sa grupo po natin, sa IECEP.
So hindi kami tatanungin nyo kasi we're from PRC.
You reserve your question for the next activity, no? Ito sa PRC lang to. Meron akong isang input. Hindi na may tanong ka pa, sir?
Sige, thank you. Yun.
Okay. So meron akong isang input kasi meron silang binigay na questions sa amin, na potential questions, pero wala nagtanong, no? Pero sasabihin ko na. Sino pa rito ang hindi pa PECE? Ang dami nyo, di ba? Ang dami. Pati yung isang moderator, no? Okay. Merong developments within PRC because si PRC kakatapos lang niyang mag-undergo ng under ISO 9001 na sila. So, meron silang quality management system and part of the activities na ginagawa ng PRC, they want to improve their services. At gusto rin nilang gawin na yung procedures na ginagawa nila would be basically the same. And one of the activities that they are updating now is the procedure for upgrade to a professional level. Pero hindi lang sa atin, no? Hindi lang naman tayo yung may professional level. Meron din yung electrical engineering, PEE. Meron din yung mechanical engineering, PME. Tapos sa atin, PECE. So, anong ginagawa ng PRC ngayon? Ang ginagawa ng PRC ngayon, i-harmonize yung procedures ng tatlo. Gagawing halos pare-pareho. So, ano yung ibig sabihin nito para sa ECE? So, ang ibig sabihin nito para sa ECE, magkakaroon na tayo ng requirement na thesis. Kasi si electrical engineering, may ganong requirement. Si mechanical engineering, merong ganong requirement. No? Although yung ibang details so magkakaiba, halimbawa, yung thesis ni ME, ang time na binibigay sa kanila to finish the thesis is too much. Tapos, sa electrical engineering, maximum of 6 months. So tinanong kami, papaano sa ECE? So ang sinabi namin, 3 months. So ang feeling kasi namin, kung 6 months, masyadong matagal para dun sa applicant. No? So yung pa naman, yung 2 months, parang ang feeling namin, it's too soon. Na kapag ang deadline mo is very short, more likely magpapaturo lang kayo dun sa ibang tao para tapusin yung thesis. Kaya sabi namin, doon kami sa 3 months. No? At iba pang maliliit na detalye, halimbawa yung pare-pareho na yung submissions, mag-specify na A4 lang ang gagamiting papel para hindi yung iba hindi nagbibigay ng letter size, yung iba long, yung iba legal. No? Kaya pag sinabit sa PRC, iba-iba yung height ng report. So gagawin A4 lahat. Tapos may color coding din. Iba yung kulay ng EE, iba ME, iba yung ECE. Para pagtingin ng, sa records ng PRC, madaling ma-identify. Ito yung thesis ni ECE, ito kay EE, ito kay ME. No? And pati yung mga requirements, pinag-iisipan namin kung halimbawa, kailangan pa ba mag-submit ng credentials sa school? Bawa, college, no? Transcript of records, etc., etc. So initially, inisip namin, hindi na kailangan. Unless otherwise, the PRC, kasi mayroong allegations before na may mga nakapag-exam na hindi naman graduate. At mahirap na nilang i-take back, no? Kasi wala silang pruweba eh. So kung meron mang ganong, halimbawa, kung merong ECE na ganon, or EE or ME, nag-require sila na mag-submit ng TOR and diploma. Just to be sure na talagang graduate sila. Kasi kung hindi sila graduate, hindi sila makapag-upgrade to a professional level. Yun lang naman yung short reason kung bakit nagre-require sila noon. So, ang current status nitong activity na to ng PRC, nakapag-conduct na kami ng 2 meeting with the EE and ME, and ang sabi ng PRC na nagko-convene nung entire board resolution o joint board resolution, magmi-meeting pa kami ng 1 beses na lang. And that would happen within this year. So more likely, kapag natapos yung meeting na yon, gagawa ng final draft, ipapaikot, pag na-approve, mapipirmahan na. So we are looking towards the first quarter of 2018, lalabas itong board resolution on upgrade to a professional status. Magiging 2 levels na po yung interview. The first interview would be a personal interview and submission of proposed project sa thesis. Normally, you submit at least 3. Tapos, during the interview, mag-a-agree yung board and the applicant kung anong project yung gagawin niya. Then after that, uwi na siya, gawin niya yung project, submit it in 3 months. Tapos, second interview ulit, defense of the thesis. So, ganun na po, no? Pumayag po kasi kami ron dahil ang requirement po ng PECE ay to sign and seal. So, we might as well check na yung applicant for a PECE are qualified really to make a design, sign it, and seal it. Okay?
Okay. Sir Luis, no, very fruitful yung result nito kasi ito yung kagandahan ng ng convention because you hear straight from the board of ECE. It's a very rare opportunity that you could spend time with our board, no? So thank you very much po for your presence, Dr. Detalia and Engineer Del Moro. Let's
Thank you,
give
sir.
them a warm round of applause.
Palakpakan natin.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Sir,
so
straight tayo. Para
Okay.
pakibasa.
So this is our
Picture lang.
way
Picture
of
lang. Alam na namin yun. Picture lang.
It's like it's a picture. This is our way of thanking you again for spending time with us. It's a very prolific afternoon.
Pwede.
So,
PUB. Thank you. Palakpakan natin lahat. Maraming salamat, sirs.